Good evening and welcome to my build of the Dinky Imp, and as we can see it's a rather shabby play-worn example. Actually it isn't. I'll be honest with you, it's one of the first ones from a good few years back that I restored. It's had rough treatment since, it's been in boxes while I've moved, thrown about, so the paint's been chipped to hell. Much the same, it's a restoration that's looking the same as it would if it was a play-worn one. My intentions on the build: it isn't quite the Imp that my family owned when I was a kid, but it's similar. The one we had was the Hillman Imp Californian, which had a fast back rather than a normal saloon. It was a coupe Imp, if you will, and it was in white with a red interior, so that's pretty much the way I decided to go. And here we are, I've split it here already because it were only glued together, so there was no real point in showing much of the strip down process. I'm going the right way about it this time though, and tapping it, although I forgot to press record when I actually did it, so all you've got is this bit of me screwing it in there, so that's about all we have of it. But it is tapped and a screw in it, and here we have the caustic soda bath of doom. Oh no. And there we go, gradually stripping the paint off, and they're all, if I remember rightly, if they're not humbrolling animals I used on it, they were spray enamels in a tin, which is pretty much the way I've gone repainting it, apart from some Tamiya colours, some Vallejo colours, and primer from a spray can. Just £1 shot primer really. And here we have the glue left in. The gems have fell out, but the glue's left in and the paint. But it's removed everything else, a couple of flakes perhaps. But this is where another one of my O-ring tools comes in. And I put it in and basically yank it out. Give it a scrape round till it loosens and pop. There we go, it's out. Just clean the little bit in the base out. And nice and clean, ready once it's sprayed and everything for the next one to go in. And here we are dragging this one out. And pop, that one's out, left a little bit in. But again, that can be scraped out with the O-ring tool. And next up we have still the front end cleaned out. Basically all the paint cleaned off it really. And next up will be the, hang on, that's the boot lid where the engine is, because the Imp was a rear engine. And there was a lot of strange things on the Imp. The heater ducting for the start, coming from the rear to the front. Oh, they had a lot of idiosyncrasies to them. They had rubber donuts for the traction, they were called, in between the drive shaft and the wheel, or the drive shaft and the engine, I think it was, the box. And the engine were tilted over at an angle. It was an aluminium engine, and they were a cracking little car, but they got a bad name through mechanics that it was really back then pretty new technology and all aluminium engine. So the mechanics were still being rough with it and treating it like it was a cast engine. So you got a lot of warp cylinder heads through incorrect tightening sequences on the bolts and stuff. But other than that, they were a cracking car. Decent boot up front. As can be seen there, that was all your boot space at the front. At the front there was a front wheel straight in the middle at the front. And what else had you got in there? I seem to remember your washer bottle was at the front in the boot, and you had your brake servos and everything at the front, well, master cylinders at the front, and they had a 60/40, I think it was. They used to call them race seat, split race seat. That used to drop down and you could carry things like, it was for fishing equipment really and little bits and bobs. If you went fishing you could drop half the seat down and have one person in the back and store all your fishing gear. So it could happily carry 3 people in fishing gear. And here, what I'm doing, I have Tamiya extra thin, an umbro filler, and I drilled through. So what I've done, I've used umbro filler, and then to smooth it down and save a hell of a lot of sanding, I used the trick of adding Tamiya liquid poly to the filler and brushing around, and it smooths it off, no worries. Smooths it off and cleans it off and stuff. It's a really good thing for doing that. If you fill on the body and you want it smoothed out on the body, you can wet your finger with it and run it over the filler, and it gives it like it's like what you'd get if you put water on top of clay when you're using it on a potter's wheel. It smooths it basically. So there we go, that's that done. And here I'm putting it into primer. I could actually do probably with some white primer for when I'm doing very light colours, and well, it's never ending really, this game. You can say, oh, I'll get white primer for lighter colours and black primer for doing this effect and grey primer. And you can even have pink primer for yellows, so it's a never ending game. You can always be buying paints and stuff. But here I am, and I'm polishing the screen unit. It has a bit of a crack in it, but it's not that noticeable once it's put together. And here I am, I'm spraying the white. Giving it basic undercolours colour, because I'm doing something else on it, you'll see in a bit. I tend to remember what I did on it was done on Imps, but I looked in Google Images and I couldn't see one. Maybe my memory's hazy, but I'm sure they had that, but it may just be me. My memory's hazy, but here I am, I'm putting a stripe down it. I'm sure they did this on Imps, but all I found when I looked was the normal chrome trim, and it had a colour down the middle of it, so maybe they just changed the colour in the middle of the broad chrome trim, but I'm sure I remember them having coloured bands down like that. May just be me. And here I'm putting on silver, I'm painting bumpers and lights and stuff, ready for doing Tamiya clay colours on them, and just basically having the silver bumpers and silver trim. I did a different trick to the side trims, as you'll see in a bit. Give them a different treatment. Well, yeah, looking quite pretty. Here I'm putting on the front badge, I think. If I remember rightly, just touching it in. And here I've put some silver water sol on the wheel up. And I'm giving it a quick buff over with a Dremel. Basically, it's what I do on all of these. I spin the wheel with the Dremel and polish the wheel. There it is, just started spinning now, and afterwards you'll see me, I'll go over it with a toothbrush. I actually took it to the bathroom and washed the excess polish off, so it looks cleaner. But it did the trick basically on it. It's just a quick polish really. Looks good afterwards, so does the trick. And here I'm doing the other side, I think. Just buffing away. Buffing away. And quite therapeutic. It's a good job I can say it because I cannot spell it. And basically what I found, I love polishing alloy, and I've found Solvol's good for it. Brasso can be, well, there's a few different things you can use for polishing alloys. And here, these two little square things on the dinky end, they used as lugs, but what they were on the real car, you had two little reflectors in between the bumper and the boot lid, because the actual tail lights, how they were done on the Imp, had no reflectors, so it was probably done as a bit of an afterthought because they like an aftermarket reflector. But because it's a legal requirement here in the UK to have rear reflectors, they have to be there. And there you can see I've scraped off the chrome trim lines with a knife to just make them look like chrome. And here I'm touching in the outer indicator, because on the Imp it's the outside one that was the indicator, and at the rear it was the upper light that was the indicator. And the lower light was stop tail light bulbs. So in them two, as I said, there were no reflector. And here you had a red plastic badge. It was a plastic chrome and red badge really in the middle. It may even not have been plastic from my memory, but they were just using plastic. The times the Imp were made, it was sort of in between using enamel badges and using plastic. And here we look back at what we had, where we started from. One missing headlight jewel, and I didn't actually show replacing the headlamp jewels. I have done it, I used a cocktail stick with a little bit of blue tack. Put the jewel onto the blue tack, use another cocktail stick. Pour a little bit of super glue in and drop the jewel in on the cocktail stick. Waited for it to set, then pulled away, and the blue tack come away and left the jewel in. But here we have the finished article, looking very pretty. I've also sourced out of one of my mint boxed ones. I've been using the decal sheet for number plates. It's out of oh bloody hell, can't think of name now. Anyway, it's a decal sheet. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed, subscribe, and even better, ring the bell for notifications. Bye for now.